Hello and welcome to another Cosmonarchy cast. This one is very exciting indeed. We've got TopRamen up here. He is our Platinum Terran. And he's going up against HitEmUp, our Ultramarine Terran. And this is Crisis Vector. Crisis Vector is a new map by Jujic. I am looking forward to auditioning it officially for Class 1. We shall see. One thing that I can immediately see is that this diagonal mineral is kind of a troll, since it will definitely be less efficient than the more vertical ones, but maybe that's intentional. You never know. You never know. It could at least be like variant 3, because then it wouldn't be the same as this one. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Map makers know what I'm saying. Anyway, this is, of course, an exciting time because we get to cast HitEmUp, which is always exciting. We get to cast TopRamen, which is also always exciting. And we also get to cast a new map, which is also always exciting. So there's 3 reasons why this is an always exciting, overdetermined cast right here. So I hope you are going to enjoy it. I hope that I am going to enjoy it, for that matter. I see no reason why I would not. We'll actually get a little sneak peek of how epic the map is as the scout comes in and you enter the facility. Yes, indeed. It's a pretty epic time to be outside, be on the outs, right? And then your natural expansion is at the precipice, the mouth of the facility, and then off you go. So I think in this version of the map, technically this little gate here is unbuildable. However, the map has since been updated to make that buildable, in case people wanted to try to build in their choke. I think it's probably fine, actually. I think both ideas had merit, with the idea that, you know, you'd have some options for it to be buildable versus unbuildable. I don't really think it's a huge deal either way, but you know, it's an option. So I do like that Ramen was being a little bit tricksy with his vulture there. I think he might suspect that there are indeed some lobotomy mines, because you can click on the vulture and see like, oh yeah, I've got this much in terms of mines left over. So I know that you've laid mines and they're probably at your gate. So you can tell he's deliberately kind of playing around that, and he's just going to go ahead and clear a couple of those mines. But HitEmUp does not notice, because he's too busy back at home building a star pad to add to his blackjack count. There you go. A couple more mine hits will indeed trip. And only one left, actually, so this one vulture has done a lot of damage there, clearing out all those mines. Another rescout there, but it looks like this one will be taken out to pasture by TopRamen. We get to see a nice little neutral asset there, the power generator. We got a treasury over here. I'm not sure why there's a treasury over there. I think there's I can't remember, honestly. I'll have to take a look at that later on. I think another update later on also added in a few other details. I don't know what's going on over here, but that's interesting. Yeah, I think one of the other updates to the map was to reveal the neutral things. So there's like one over here as well. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's I wonder if there's like some neutral resource that isn't revealed. Or maybe they're just decorations. Anyway, we have some ant seals coming out to support the blackjacks, and a ministry going down for HitEmUp. TopRamen's is going to be finished sooner, but it is also going to have to lift off and move over. There's a lot of Cyclops that were made by Ramen, and he's still continuing to make them, although he does make another round of vultures just so that he can continue laying mines. This was a 2-Folk opener for both players, but they've definitely navigated the rest of the matchup in a different way. I think this Mason Scout has missed the army. We are going to need to see those mines go down unless, well, they both go down without actually planting their mines. But that ant seal is gone, so the Cyclops are going to be a lot more efficient versus these blackjacks as a result. The mines are going to just absolutely shellac HitEmUp's army, and that is going to be a wrap. A couple of Cyclops almost died of this friendly fire, but, well, he picks up 2 of his Cyclops immediately and sends them out for a drop. He's basically counting that Ramen will not move across the map. This could be a very fast TVT indeed. Cyclops countering blackjacks, who would have thunk it? Actually makes perfect sense. But, yeah, if he can hold back the gates here, he's made a couple of his own Cyclops, knowing that some of Ramen's are very brittle and vulnerable to the splash damage. Now we get another little neutral object there, the hand-animated side disruptor. That one last leftover mine is going to buy a little bit of time. And look at that, actually, it does claim one of the Cyclops because of the fire onto the mine. Now these 2 Cyclops are going to path up there as this ministry starts to get pressured. There doesn't really seem to be any combat units over here, but 2 Cyclops are going to finish, so it won't be gone forever. Oh, wow, that ministry might actually end up dying. It doesn't look like HitEmUp microed it back. That's a bit of an unforced error as he's busy trying to kill all of these, but it goes down. Explosions. What a silly opener. Couple of Cyclops here just getting cleaned up by the reinforcements. They did lost mining time, killed 3 workers. It's not the end of the world, I suppose, for TopRamen. I think it's probably worse for HitEmUp that he lost his ministry. I think that one is decidedly worse. He could even lose his Trojan here, but TopRamen was gracious enough to not pay attention. And thus, no opportunity for a snipe on that one. Was an opportunity. No opportunity taken. There you go. There will be 1 Palladium and a 3rd Scrapyard. HitEmUp committing to the Blackjack Matador. I believe this is no, this should be after the Matador buff where they move faster. I don't know that we'll end up seeing Matadors at all. I just say that because Scrapyard enables both units, but it seems to me that HitEmUp is going to stick to pure Blackjack with some Phalanx support. Going to try to control the ground game. An Ancial for TopRamen and a Trojan to follow. So we will see a Cyclops drop from him. But of course, as that Ancial gets spotted across the map, he should be somewhat cognizant of that. He's going to send all of his combat units away. He did not invest in any static defense. No, I tell a lie. There's 1 Watchdog spotting for the drop. So at the very least, he'll have some kind of awareness, and he can pull a couple of his Cyclops away to deal with the drop from HitEmUp. There's only 2 Cyclops in that Trojan, because there's only 2 to begin with. Oh, is it actually going to get shot down? The answer is definitely no. But a couple of them will indeed unload, and now there's got to be some kind of reaction. He's just going to send a couple... Oh, I love that! The Trojan was so wounded, he's just going to send a couple of Masons off to the side to clear that. Meanwhile, HitEmUp still continuing to push in, but there's a 3rd Ministry pumping workers here. The Trojan has already left the building with 3 Cyclops in it, so I don't think HitEmUp spotted that. That Ministry will lift off as the Cyclops run back down. There's still no sustain, really, on either side. No stockade in sight for either of these players. And you remember, as the Phalanx come out, if you can keep the Cyclops off of your Phalanx, and Blackjacks are pretty good at drawing that fire, I actually think HitEmUp's army will just crush what Ramen has. But true to form, I mean, HitEmUp does not have... first of all, it doesn't have that as many workers, considering his 2nd Ministry needed to be rebuilt. But also... he doesn't have any static defense, and really hardly any units at home at all. So a very gambly style here from our greedy Tyrant player. And he's not actually paying attention just yet, as the Ancial was the first thing that he looked at. But yeah, now that the Cyclops are here, they have pushed the they've pushed things back a little bit. And Cyclops continuing to trade around that power generator. They might get a couple of extra kills here and there, but no, actually just a little bit of damage. Meanwhile, the couple of units were more than enough to stop this from doing too much damage. Although I will say, as the Trojan scoops up 2 more Cyclops, it does feel like losing the... Oh no, he's flying back over the Blackjacks. I don't know why he did that. Losing the mining time here is actually pretty big, since HitEmUp already had such a poor economy compared to TopRamen. Got a Palladium being added on here. I know HitEmUp has been playing a lot of Starcraft Remastered lately on the ladder. He's talked about how he's apparently improved his APM and stuff, so that's pretty epic. But I don't know how much he's been on the ball when it comes to Cosmonarchy by comparison, so this might have been a rare game for him. Nonetheless, he's still going to go ahead and push outside, and again, this is what I was talking about earlier. He's shoving this push into Ramen's territory, now starting to threaten this 3rd base, which only worked for Ramen if he actually had combat units, and he did throw most of them away. So he's going to try to send the Masons out there for the friendly fire from the Phalanx, but I don't think it's going to be nearly enough. Some Cyclops do come down. The Ancial not protecting them, though, and oh, man, it's crushing because they're not even getting damage dealt onto those Blackjacks or anything. So a lot of workers are going down here. HitEmUp is closing the gap. No 3rd Ministry on the way. Well, I say that. He just now puts it down. So he will correct that particular mistake, he'll correct for that particular miss, I should say. But nonetheless, that Phalanx does stay alive. I think maybe Ramen thought it was going to go down to one of the effect fields, but when you kill the Cyclops responsible for it, the effect field does not persist. So more of a technical limitation than anything. Oh, his Phalanx was going after the Blackjacks instead of that one in the back. Could have at least traded 1 Phalanx for 1 Phalanx. But again, the economy has been better for Ramen for longer. Only now is HitEmUp starting to equalize, and even then there's this double gas 3rd base here that's super good for Ramen. So he can continue to scale up in terms of his production. I mean, we look at the fulcrum count, it's 4 on the side of HitEmUp, who is going for tier 2, but Ramen has 6, right? Yeah, and 2 of them have an add-on, so very solid stuff there. His Phalanx count will end up overtaking HitEmUp's if he's not careful. All of his Ancial's just going to slowly get peppered down here. Not ideal for the Tyrant. Our version of Jaedong, perhaps? No, the Tyrant is because he actually won a tournament called Tyrant's Tale, if people are wondering. Oh man, that Anseal's so close to death. Not going to quite go down, though. Blackjacks finally will clean up these Masons that were harvesting the gas, so at least now that third base is fully shut down. And this siege has gone on for so long that actually this ministry is going to go ahead and land here. So this feels like Ramen is perhaps exceptionally unpracticed at dealing with siege lines. Just charging in and deploying instead of using the tank mode or, you know, closing the gap there. I do feel like that would have happened. I mean, this is 3 phalanxes deep, right? This is not a very impenetrable force for HitEmUp to leverage. He's got more reinforcements coming, but that should definitely get cleaned up. 4 Cyclops off to the side will go ahead and raid that third base. It looks like, or at least they'll be able to do so. A combat drop of Cyclops. That's an interesting option. It does feel like we need to see those phalanxes unsiege and move down a little bit so that they can project more force. And if you have a cliff advantage here in Cosmonarchy, unlike in Starcraft 1, it does give you bonus range, which obviously is pretty impactful in tank battles and stuff. In a way, though, it's nice. It's nice to see that phalanxes still matter for the for TVT. You know, it's good to see that, in my opinion. Phalanxes being an impactful unit. Now, this is going to be a splatter. HitEmUp is not necessarily going to be able to get too far here, but at the very least, he pops one of those phalanxes. Oh, he should even win this fight over off to the side, but instead he's going after the Masons. I don't know that that's the best move. I'm also not really sure. Oh, the Cyclops got scooped up by a Trojan, and they're now attacking the main base. I was going to say, I'm not really immediately sure where those Cyclops went. This feels kind of like, I'm really impressed about HitEmUp's sort of ability to stay in the game despite it being such a bad situation, and now he's going straight into Tinker's Tower captaincies. He's going to be making Siren Striga, and I actually don't know if Ramen can come back from that because he still has not invested into Tier 2. So that feels really awkward for our upstart here. But this is a game that I feel like Ramen had in the bag and then just went super greedy trying to build more fulcrums instead of making more combat units when he needed to, or, you know, like maybe going straight to the Palladium when he really needed just a couple of combat units to thwart the attack on his third base. The Trojan just gets sniped, but it's empty. It was just there to do a little bit of a prank. That Blackjack will end up getting shot down, but there's another one in the mineral line, so not ideal there. Cyclops are going to clear out over here. Yeah, really the Blackjacks have been like a stable unit that HitEmUp has leveraged to spend less gas than his opponent, because Cyclops cost Vespene, whereas Blackjacks are mineral only. So that's one of the main reasons why HitEmUp was obviously able to get to Tier 2 faster despite having less eco, is that he just spent less Vespene on his military, right? And now the Sirens are here. You can't even siege to avoid that. You will be pulled forward by the Sirens. The Siren song. I think when that comes out, it becomes a lot harder to feel like you've got anything you can do here, but at least he's shutting down the Ministry with some Cyclops rallied down. His own Atlas about 25% complete. And, you know, again, the eco isn't tremendously out of whack. Obviously, HitEmUp has 10 more workers, but currently having so much lost mining time between his main base, which is now depleted, and his third base, with all of the evacuations that have happened and a little bit of pressure from the drops, that can definitely slow things down long enough for maybe Ramen to get into a more drawn-out position. But this does look to me like Ramen's going to be under the pump, is a nice way to put it. Another Ministry going down at the third base. I feel like that's the riskiest place to try to put down an extra town center at this point. Wraith will start doing mild heckling over here. Shouldn't be good for more than a couple of frags. These phalanxes off to the side, though, they're actually going to be somewhat impactful as the Strigas have to be deployed. These fast-moving units are pretty adept at taking care of the business over here. But actually, since they're not being microed towards the enemy, and since this one's so far away, that actually ends up being pretty impactful there. One of those Sirens will surely, or a Striga will surely fall. Meanwhile, a couple of small skirmishes have been happening off to that side. This Wraith will finally have 6 kills or something like that. That's pretty impressive. Finally go down. Yeah, all these annoying moves that Ramen is doing, he's hoping to just bide time, distract his opponent, and captaincies are coming out. Although not in the same number. It's actually going to be 3 starports. I don't know if Ramen has enough of a phalanx count over here to withstand, because obviously they're all off to the side here. He needs to get into a better position. Wasn't quite expecting this flank coming in from the east instead of coming in straight from the south. So hats off to HitEmUp for doing that. It's like an agrarium or something over here. There's a lot of a lot of different little bits and bobs to the map. You know, the map looks very visually pleasing, so that's always something that I'm a fan of, right? Like that visuals will go a long way, in my opinion. And there you go. He's going to go ahead and drop a ministry over there, or get ready to anyway. Making a lot of Ramses. So 4th base will soon be actuated or put down for HitEmUp. And the Blackjacks caught the Trojan. But the 4th base is faster for Ramen. He's not caught up in workers, but it is faster for him. The problem is there's sirens and there's cataphracts on the way. And if that ministry dares to lift off, don't lift it off. Oh wait, no, it doesn't work on buildings. Never mind. You're safe, Ramen. You're safe. I forgot it wasn't. I did think about enabling it for lifted structures. I even thought about enabling that for the Anthelion at one point, but I did not do so. I did not do so. The Anthelion is a vast Protoss capital craft that sucks units into it like a black hole generator. Well, the Ministry's going to go back over there to see what's going on with the army at the very least. A Cyclops will move off to the bottom left, so Ramen will get a little bit of scouting until the game is definitely slowed down enough so that Ramen can leverage his tech. Can't get away, Mini Ostri. Well, it had a funny shadow at the very least, so. D:. Cataphracts are pretty good, but the phalanx count here for Ramen. Oh yeah, I guess it probably works when they're landed, as opposed to like when they're in the middle of their landing sequence. So that's just a bug I gotta fix later. Hey, it's good to know. Pulling the phalanxes is pretty good. I don't know, comment below. What do you guys think? When the units are sieged, should the fact that they have these like little emplacements here stop them from getting pulled in? I think it's kind of neat positional gameplay for them to get pulled in, but maybe it's too strong. Maybe it's too powerful. Although at the same time, if I keep being told that phalanxes are a terror in TVT, so you know maybe it should be how it is. These Blackjacks are unlikely to be all brought down by the Sundogs. Ooh, one of them gets killed. You know, those are fairly expensive units. This Mason will die to the Cyclops. Another engagement. Finally, some extra bio there with the Strigas, but they will end up going down relatively quickly. The Durandal is going to roast those phalanxes. The Sundogs are here, though. This is actually going to be hard for HitEmUp to clear with the army that he's got. He should be able to do some economic damage, though, and that might end up stacking up. That being said, there are more phalanxes and double ministry here ready to lift off. The problem is HitEmUp already has that 4th base operational, so this feels a lot harder. Ooh, shellacked. Oh, interesting. It is actually working kind of on the ministry, but only when it was moving in an opposite direction? Yeah, that's definitely bugged. That's alright. This is how we fix things. We find the bugs, and then we fix them. That siren is going to go down. The ministry will also explode, though. Alright, shellacked. Only a couple of cataphract kills go down. Oh, no! Another attempt at the 4th base, and it's not going to happen. Just going to get ping-ponged around. That's a wrap. Yeah, I feel like HitEmUp's been in the lead for the last, like, five minutes or so, but he's gone for a funny way of closing the game, and obviously Ramen has extended it a lot with his moves, right? His ability to constantly annoy HitEmUp and sting him where he really doesn't want to be stung. But, you know, there's the 4th base, the 5th one is on location. That's how bold it is. Listen, the map's definitely an interesting map, I'll say that much. I know it's already received a couple of changes, so we'll have to cast another few versions on it. But hey, are you looking at a map that we will be playing in the qualifiers for Acropolis number 3? Are you looking at that map right now? See ya. And a couple of units in the middle of the map getting caught. Cyclops going to be dispensed with by just a couple of units on rally. HitEmUp definitely taking charge now. He's killed the 3rd base. Ramen has no chance, really, of making much else happen here. I think he has fully been killed. Where were you when Ramen was killed? And then you type no with the quote marks, right? I think that's the copy pasta anyway. Yeah, it is definitely an interesting play to do. I mean, the problem here, I think, that Ramen ran into is just that he didn't have enough to counter the push. He went for the third very fast, which is bold, and I like it. But then after that, he went for scaling his production and like kind of teching. You think about add-ons as a form of tech, right? And he kind of did that. With the problem there being he just didn't have the military to answer HitEmUp's push. And that was the beginning of the end. He needed to find some way to come back into things positionally, or maybe if all of his combined forces with the drops were possible later on, that might have been a good option. If he had maybe tried to do some kind of combined arms push, and I know he did, but it needed to be a bit more successful somehow. I'm struggling to find a way for Ramen to come back in after he loses that third base, or a lot of mining time at the third base and that prolonged siege that we saw. That feels like maybe it was just a little bit too much there of an advantage for HitEmUp to mount. So, hey, that's a game of Cosmonarchy. We just casted that game of Cosmonarchy. We've got another one tomorrow, so why not subscribe if you're not already? Pump these numbers up, homies, and we'll be with you tomorrow for more games, more excitement, maybe another game on this map. Let's find out. GG.